Hello.
Hey, how you
Hello. Welcome to Perfectly Twisted. What's good? So you were in New York all week.
You know what? I had a great week. I went to Nashville, Tennessee, and then I went right from Nashville on the 4th of July to New York City. And so it was fantastic. And to go to two different places that are much different felt like two vacations. So I love New York. I know you're there all the time, Nicole, but I absolutely loved every bit of it. It was fantastic.
Well, you know where I haven't been to Nashville. I've been wanting to go to
Nashville's a good
Nashville
time.
so bad. And I had a
You
trip
can't.
planned and the pandemic hit and that all went out the window. So how was Nashville? Was it hot?
It was hot. New York, I felt was hotter. New York was hotter, 91 with the humidity. But
Uh-huh.
one thing about Nashville, it is all about a good time. I mean, you can drink everywhere. They literally have a bar in Taco Bell in Nashville.
Are you
Uh,
kidding?
Not joking. I mean, you want to drink, that is the place to be. Everyone always talks about New Orleans or Las Vegas. Nashville, I've never seen anything like it. It is all about having a good time
Oh,
24/7.
oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. And
Yeah.
then so New York, yeah, hot as heck, right? So humid,
It
so dirty.
was. It was hot and humid. That's the only thing about the Southern California I definitely missed. But again, you go more than I do, and I don't know what it is. I love first thing I do when I walk out is I always like to find where's the Empire State Building, and then navigate from there. Just going, okay, this is the iconic part of the city, and then I try and get my bearings of where I'm at. But the food is so good. It's like everywhere I ate, everything was so good, and I love walking across the Brooklyn Bridge and seeing the people, and everybody was extremely friendly. I didn't feel in danger at any time. I really enjoyed the city and just had a great time. I couldn't live there. I'm not tough enough. I'll be honest with you, but I absolutely loved it and can see why. Really, it's the number one city in the United States.
Well, speaking of food, I saw you posted something about the New York pizza, but then you
Yeah,
hashtagged, how do you say that name? Carl? What
Saberos. That was a joke. It was. I'm a
okay,
fan of the TV show
I
The
was like,
Office.
I hope that this is a joke.
It's awful pizza, but you can get it in every
Yeah,
mall in the
okay.
country.
I was
No, it's
looking, I was like,
awful.
what? What is he talking about? I was like, there's no way. There's
No
no
way.
way he went there in New
No.
York. Like we were like Times Square.
No, no, no,
Get that.
that's funny. No, so I'm a fan of The Office, and in the TV show The Office, Steve Carell's character goes to New York because he has a meeting, and he says, "I got to stop off for New York's famous pizza," and that's where he does the same thing with that I did. He took the picture, the video in front, and of course that's not it. I wouldn't eat that in the
Okay.
Galleria in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But my favorite pizza though, and I got to ask you if you have a favorite, is Little Italy pizza was outstanding. But Joe's Pizza, the line was a half a mile long, and I didn't even try and get in there for a slice of pizza. But it must be great because the line never went down.
Oh, really? To be honest, I don't really eat a lot of pizza when I go there.
You don't just say when in New York doing it.
No, because they have great pizza here. There's a great pizza place down the street that I have great pizza at a phone
Gi-
call away at any time. So
Give
I
a
don't.
give a shout out for it. I'm curious. Do you know the name of the place? Because I'm one of those people that, and I love LA food. There's so many great places in LA to go.
Prime Pizza. I feel
Prime
like
Pizza.
they're nationwide. I feel like they have got a few locations.
Okay.
Hands down, fantastic. And they do different styles of pizza. So there's something for everybody, different styles, but really good. Really,
Really
really
good.
good. Really huge pizzas too, like gigantic.
Love it. No, I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. And
Yeah,
I
if you're
don't know,
ever around
maybe
there, check them out because they're really good.
just curious, when you were a kid, I've never asked you this. When you were a kid, like my dad was one of those guys that he wasn't into, like he wasn't going to take his kids to get a steak dinner where, it's going to cost you $500. So we were going to Cupid's Hot Dogs in the Valley, and we're going to Pink's, and we're going to Tommy's, and I'll eat that food because it reminds me of my dad. Not all the time, but when I'm in LA, I'll try and make certain stops that remind me of my childhood. When you were a kid, did your parents take you to kind of like dive hamburger and hot dog places or anything like that? Or were they into, we're going to go for a nice meal, we're going to sit down?
Okay, so it's funny that you asked that. My dad always ate really well. Like it was always like going to fine dining,
Uh-huh.
and we ate well. And my mom, totally the opposite, terrible cook, and was always like, Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
cook? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, the guacamole burger is great.
We didn't have that back then. They still had like the crinkle cut fries.
Yeah.
Remember that? And yeah, and
A
I would
famous star. Yeah.
yeah, just get a cheeseburger and those crinkle cut fries. And that was my meal a lot of the days.
So when you were a kid, though, who did you want to eat with? I mean, you're a kid. Do you want to eat with your dad or you want to eat with your mom?
Just as long as my mom wasn't cooking, I was cool.
Wait, so you knew at a young age, my mom can't cook. Like you didn't.
Oh, terrible.
Oh, you knew.
Oh, God.
You obviously had options where you knew the difference of her cooking and someone else's cooking.
Well, it just everything was horrible, and it was like, and it was such a dramatic experience to get to where the food was finally on the table. So she's swearing and yelling and screaming in the kitchen, and I thought for the longest time I thought that asparagus was brown.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't realize that you could have green, crunchy, nice asparagus till I was much older. And I always thought, eat this. And she boiled everything. She'd boil the asparagus, boil Brussels sprouts. I was like, what are you doing?
Really?
So no, my mom was just terrible. And everything was cold. So it came to the table at different times. Cold, brown, soggy asparagus and Brussels sprouts. I mean, I don't even think she used salt and pepper. I'm not sure. It was tragic. It was truly tragic.
Yeah, who knows? You might have grown up to be 5'11". You never know. Maybe your mom had a problem with it.
I think all the nutrients are gone at that point. Boiled out.
That is too funny. So overall for you, how was your week? Good week?
Not the best week. Not going to bore you with the details. Definitely not the best week, but you know what? I just keep staying positive and just keep going forward. And I know everything will be okay.
Always.
Yeah, always. But I did find a great new product that I'm in love with that I want to tell everybody about.
Yes.
I used this serum called Glass Skin. And it's by Peach and Lily, which I know I've talked about them before. But I have found it in Ulta at Target too. But I used the serum, and then I just found the mist. The mist. And I absolutely love it because if I forget to use it, I can spray it on. You can spray it on before or after your makeup, or with no makeup, and put it in the fridge. It's so amazing. It comes in this glass container, so it gets nice and cold. And ladies, if you haven't tried it, try it. My daughter stole the serum one, so that's why I was on the hunt for a new one, and I found this. And so I was like, oh, I'll try it. I like a good mist, and it's fantastic. It's such a good product. It's been around forever, but it's a solid staple. So if you use it and you haven't tried the mist yet, I highly recommend it.
Is it one of those that you put on then before you leave the house? You don't put it in your purse. You mentioned put it in the refrigerator.
Yeah. Okay. And for the summer, I'm going to keep it in the fridge because, listen, I'm at a certain age. I get a little overheated. My temperatures can run a little hot these days. So yes, anything in the fridge, I'm all for it. I've got all kinds of things in the fridge. We've got like rollers in the fridge. We've got spray in the fridge. I've got an Evian spray in the fridge. Yes.
Good
deal.
My
daughter just got a little mini fridge for her bedroom that has like the makeup mirror on it. I don't know if you've seen. Probably not because you don't have little girls, but so that's what everybody's doing. They're using this little refrigerator and they're putting all their products in it. And
I tell you, every time I hear mini fridge, I keep thinking of Heather from the Real Housewives of Orange County when she was going through that list. She dropped the micro fridge, the microwave and
refrigerator. I mean, how out of touch are we? How out of touch are we? Oh my God!
It's the funniest thing I think in the history of those shows when she completely thinks it's a microwave and a refrigerator together.
And she's such a know-it-all, and I mean that in like the nicest way because I do enjoy watching her. But she is Miss Know-it-all, and so when she says it so matter-of-factly, I was just like,
oh my gosh.
No.
It is the best. It is the best. But every time someone says mini fridge, and I hear it a lot now because I have a lot of friends whose kids are going to college, and they always go, I have to get the mini fridge. I go, the micro fridge? And they go, look at me. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah.
So funny. Okay, so speaking of Housewives,
yes.
have you been watching anything?
I have, of course, I have. I have.
Okay.
I've been watching Housewives of Orange County. Okay, and
Okay.
I love that. I love that one. I'm glad they brought Tamra back. Took her less than one episode to turn right back into the Tamra that she's always been. I always think, I don't know why, Nicole, I fall for it all the time, and maybe because I'm a guy and she's pretty and she seems like a nice person, but man, she turns into a bitch right away.
Yes,
And
she
I
is.
go every single time. I'm like, oh, she's changed, and she hasn't changed, and
She
she's
hasn't changed.
always the shit stirrer and everything else. And
Horrible.
but she makes the show go. She honestly makes the show go to the point where last year I thought was very boring, and for her to cause problems is unbelievable. But I am watching, and I'm watching a show that you recommended for me to watch with Luann and Sonia too.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's bring my friend John on. John West is a really good friend of mine, and he is my go-to for everything because I get like in the week I can't keep up with everything, and he always has the rundowns on everything. Hey, good looking.
Hey,
So John always like is always filling me in on everything, and I was like, so I had to bring him on so we could dish on all the stuff. So
some here, or
huh?
like Ken says, did you hear? When he comes in,
That's what he does. He just walks
Exactly.
into the kitchen and drops a cake. Did you hear?
the plant.
That's true.
Yeah, I know that was so funny. That was such a setup. But speaking of Tamra, Dave, I mean, John and I kind of think that OC is a little boring, and she just is so. Yeah,
The Vicky Cute face. I mean,
yeah.
100%.
It's just so predictable. I guess it's predictable. So we really are excited for Vicky to come back.
Yes.
Okay,
Right?
We want to check our love tanks. We're here for it.
Yeah.
so John, I got a question then for both of
Yeah.
you. Did Vicky get taken off the show because the ego got too big and Annie didn't want to deal with her? What's your theory on why they even took her off? Because Vicky and Tamara, I always say you need someone that kind of stirs the drink, and those two always did it.
Right. So, from my understanding, is Tamara and Vicky were both demoted to friend of, and they took that personally. So they both exited, and look where
Okay.
the show went.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, Real Housewives, Ultimate Girls Trip showed them back together. Great. So now they're obviously both back on the show. Hopefully, we're whooping it up again because
Yeah. They need they need Vicky on there because I get it. Bringing Tamara back was better than last season, but it's just not enough.
yeah, and I mean, it came off to me a little try hard, like
Yeah.
fighting episode 1.
Yeah.
You're trying to secure your next season tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
It's so predictable.
I got a theory for both of you too. You guys let me know if I'm crazy. Heather seems like Orange County is beneath her. Like Heather seems like she would like to be part of the Beverly Hills Housewives.
Well, to quote Heather, I think she's done. Please leave. She's over it.
Well, she did get a place in LA. They did
Yeah.
get a place in Los Angeles. She wants to be back in the industry and in the scene, and her kids have left. And did all her kids leave, or one was enough? And she's like,
Two of the four. Two of the four.
She still has 2 at home, but yeah, I don't think that she thinks it's beneath her. It obviously gave her a spotlight, but I just think she wants back to where her goals and aspirations were, which
in LA. But
Yeah.
she, I think in general, she kind of has an air of that she's better than
oh,
anything,
100%.
everything, right? Yeah.
And then some of it's warranted, some of it's not. Some of
Yeah.
it's husband's money, some of it's
Yeah, I know. It's like
Yeah.
I remember she was having a conversation and she said something like she didn't even know how many bedrooms were in her house, and I was
Listen,
like,
if you
that's
have to get
stupid.
past 3 gates to get through my front door,
Yeah.
I'm going to have an air too.
Yeah.
Well, I would.
How did you get here? You didn't just drop by. No, you didn't just drop by. You came through 3 gates to get here. I knew you were here.
Yeah.
So Nicole, being in the business and you've been an actress your whole life, how good of an actress is she? Like, is she like? Do you see her working again and getting an opportunity and saying, you know what, she is good at this craft?
Sure. I mean, I think so. And you know what I would to add to that is I feel like she's doing line readings on the show. Like when she said, does Chanel make rakes? Like it's so actory of her. It is such line readings that she's doing. So I think her heart is there. I mean, I think that's where her heart is because she can't help herself. She's bringing it into this reality show. So, I mean, I hope so. Didn't they do an episode where she was on, she shot an episode of something, a sitcom, and I thought she did a good job.
Yeah, she did a couple. They did, what was it, Hawaii Five-0. They did that Malibu Country back in the day. But yeah, I think she's great for her niche or genre. I don't see her doing, Sally Field and Magnolias.
Right.
Like high drama.
But yeah, and I don't think she
doesn't move
necessarily wants to either. I feel like
right.
with her, like she's so rich, she's so fancy pants that she just likes to work a little bit to like for the attention and for the for doing the craft. Right. And then she probably I can't even see her committing to like a full-time gig.
Right. Or even like supporting a job, like a lead. I don't see it.
But I can't speak for her, but I just
in my opinion.
What do you think about the storyline that they pulled up the IMDB page on her and they comment about all her work?
We've talked about that already, Nicole. You go ahead and take it.
Well, first of all, the fact that none of them can pronounce IMDb was hilarious. So that would lead me to think nobody else has one. So, but then there's Tamara just lying again, the whole 1900s. It's like, it reminds me of something my kid would say. My kid said, she said to somebody, oh yeah, my mom was born in the 1900s, and it's like, it was so innocent, but it's such a stab. It's such a jab. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I digress. I think that they're jealous in a way because it's something they don't have. It's something that they don't do. And
right. They obviously all came on the show and stayed on it for a level of fame, a level of notoriety, a level of even financial security, which she has and has had to some extent. So, yeah, I think there's a jealousy there, definitely.
Yeah, she doesn't need it. She doesn't need the show. She doesn't need to ever work again. I mean, let's face it. Her life is set. She's secure. So.
But then just like the relevance of IMDb, and that's what I was kind of hinting at. It's not like where a lot of people go and look. Anymore.
Yeah, IMDb is getting really old, and I've talked about this before on the show. And I just canceled my subscription to IMDb Pro. I was like, nope, I'm not renewing you. You will not change my information. You will not put my true life story up. I'm not supporting you. I'm definitely not sending you any more money. So no, out with it. I think everybody goes to Actors Access, right? Isn't that where everybody goes to Actors Access now? So there's a new sheriff in town, IMDb. There's a new player in the game, and nobody wants to pay. First of all, it's like you didn't used to have to pay for it. Now you have to pay for it. And it's all bullshit on there. So what's the point of it? So yeah, those are my feelings.
I heard you say you watched Crappie Lake. Thoughts?
I did.
Enjoyed it?
I'll be honest with you. So far, not enjoying it. And then I'm getting mad at Nicole for making me watch it. Because here's the deal. I'm one of these guys, John, that will start watching a show and I have to watch it to the end. Even if I don't enjoy the show, now I'm in. I'm invested. And I'm invested in this show.
So did you watch two back to back?
Yes, of course I did. Of course I did. I'm a train wreck. But you got me into this. It's another thing I'm now addicted to thanks to Nicole. And I will watch it all the way through.
I think it's officially Crappie Lake, but they call it right? Crappie Lake. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I get that it's a play on Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yes. Screaming, yes.
But yeah, and I like it because, well, it's the Simple Life 2.0 we didn't know we needed.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, let's look at their lineup right now. Coming next week, okay, we're getting great with New York coming back, and what else is coming back? Below Deck.
Yeah, Below Deck with the Australian.
Huh? Oh no, actually, right now we were kind of in a snooze fest, so it's needed, and I think we just all need to laugh after Scandival.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Atlanta's back.
Yeah, Atlanta's back in that mid-season trailer, hot and steamy.
Yeah. I like Atlanta. They always deliver. I don't care what season it is. What
Don't take me,
episode it is.
boo.
Yeah, they always deliver. Unbelievable. Love that show. And I hope that we see more of Kim Zolciak Biermann. I hope. Do you think that they're going to play out her whole like divorce?
Well, I think cameras were already down, and I mean, what I said in text to people was, I think it was all just since they're back together and called off the divorce. I think it was just a play to get cameras up on them.
Oh, they are back together?
Yeah, they called off the divorce. They were seen paparazzi'd at church Sunday, and yeah, I think it was a play to bring a show back so they can get out of their money woes.
Right, because okay, that makes sense. Because I had read that they did it to get out of money issues,
right.
back taxes and evictions and all that were happening. So, or foreclosures that were happening. So I thought that maybe that's why, but it would make sense that they would want the cameras back up on them because she seems so in this first episode of, or in this episode of Atlanta, this last one, she seems totally happy and like there's no sign of.
Yeah.
Listen, not that anybody's a true indicator because people lie all the time. Let's talk Kyle and Mauricio. People like fool you all the time, and then you find out, oh no, we're miserable. Is she in a relationship with a woman?
Who knows? But talk about cameras back up. Mercedes from Shaw's was just on Lala's show talking about so she works at the agency with Mauricio now. So cameras are back up because they've been filming and heavily focused on Mauricio and Kyle.
Interesting. Because she keeps being photographed with that like hot lady, right? With all the tattoos.
Yeah, country singer, right? Morgan Wade, Morgan something.
I think you're right. I think the last name's Wade. It's fine. I was looking at all this stuff in New York. I was doing the same thing, and I did exactly, Nicole, what you said was, is she with a woman now? And then it was hard to get the story. Is she just with the woman because she's a close friend and that's who she wants to hang out with, or is she switched teams? You know what I mean? It was kind of confusing to get the story.
It's very confusing, and who knows? There's a matching tattoo. There's a matching ring they both have. So obviously people are drawing speculations, but I've been on trips with people and got a matching ring, no matching tattoos yet. But, you know.
Yeah, I got the matching ring with my best friend, and her and I got the matching rings. No tattoos for sure. Definitely not a tattoo. But I wouldn't see like a young Nicole being above that. That definitely could have been something I could have done. But, at this age and at this time, it just feels like maybe she's experimenting. Maybe she's, checking it out. Because it seems like the other girl, too, that got a divorce from Atlanta, why am I blanking on her name? The one where her and her husband never, ever, ever got along. And she's been with the basketball player, right? The female basketball player. God, what are their names? Oh, my God.
I'm trying to blank, too.
She had the gym, like she had or she was doing like a weight loss workout.
Oh, Drew Sidora.
Yeah. Thank you.
This whole mid-season trailer's about. Yeah.
Yes, that. So she's with that super hot like basketball player chick too, right? It's like this is happening everywhere. Listen, if I could, I would. If I could, I would. I feel like it would be so much easier to be with a woman than with a man. I mean, I do not blame them at all for dipping that toe in that pond because it just, to me, it seems like there's such less bullshit and like at least women understand women and,
Well, right. I think I texted you this earlier because I was watching The Bachelorette. Like, if that's a selection of people out there, like, I get it.
Yeah.
These guys are just like so petty and childish, and I don't know if they're just trying to make good TV, but like the tattletaling, like you don't come off in any way as somebody in a relationship. Period.
Yeah. And guys, it's like a lot of people seems like they just like to lie, just to like lie.
The taste good.
I don't understand that. It's like, what? I don't get it. Like, either you want to date somebody or you don't. If you want to just be on this TV show, so you're pretending you want to be in a relationship, but it trickles into real life. Men are like, they tell you like what they think you want to hear, which is just so. And I'm not saying women don't do it too. I'm not saying that, but you know, I can only speak from experience. And it's like they just tell you what they think you want to hear. And most of the time, it's not what I want to hear. Like, I don't want to hear that.
Who they are, though. I mean, that's pretty much just guys keep your eyes open. But yeah, just it's rough out there.
Rough out there. So what? Tell me about the Bachelorette, because I haven't seen anything on it.
So I think we're only in episode 3, but there was Braden. He's kind of like the front runner. Got the first impression rose first episode, and since then everybody's kind of just been going to, I think her name's Charity, the Bachelorette, and just basically telling on him. Oh, he told us this, this, and this. And it's just so like blown up and blown out of proportion, where he's saying, oh, I had a nice time. We blah, blah, blah. Or he's talking about like the one-on-one date, and they come back to her and they're like, well, he's not speaking highly of you, but they can't give her any facts. And so, but it's, you know, obviously it's such a pressure cooker environment that they're in. So coming into it, she's like second guessing what she's actually feeling, and it's crazy. But again, only episode 3, so time will tell.
Yeah, you know, to be like on that show, you could not take it seriously. Like, there's just no way that you take that seriously and still enjoy yourself.
Oh,
because I think your hair would fall out. I think you would like stay up all night, like, wow, what's going on here? Just like you can't trust me.
And I think that's definitely why they've had some of like the Bachelorettes leave even while they're mid taping.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, and they've had to like replace the main person that everybody came in to date. Wow. It's just so, yeah. It's
that would just freak me out, like to be in front of like, how many men is it at first? Like 30 men or something? And just you are just like chum being thrown in the ocean, right? Like that is serious. I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to do that at all.
I mean, I remember somebody's turn on The Bachelor as a guest.
Yes, but that was easy. I got to go in and out and just watch everybody.
Yeah.
Wait, explain the story. Wait, Nicole, explain the story. I'm lost now. What do you mean?
Oh, I did a guest hosting spot on it recently. Not recently, but not too long ago. And we put the girls through a Baywatch like challenge. Yeah. So they were like trying to impress him. And so I had to like run them through some drills. I mean, it's a heavily produced show, guys. And
so how did they contact you? How did they reach out to you? Like they just said, hey, and you were like, I'm in because I watched the show.
Yeah. They reached out to a representative and they were like, does she want to come on and, be the lifeguard for the day and put the girls through a Baywatch, challenge thing? And I was like, yeah, of course I was all for it. I want to see how that show works. I want to be on set of that without having to be a part of it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
And I took John with me. Me and John went. We were like, and it was kind of, what I took away from it the most is that most of those girls were so much prettier in person,
right?
Than they were. Yes. Then when I started watching the show, I was like, I don't really recognize any of them. They were
where did Brooke go? Where?
Yeah, they were so stunning in real life, and they were like still pretty on TV. I'm not saying they weren't, but not compared to what they look like in real life. So that was weird. But I guess not everybody's super photogenic. That's kind of like why when they say that people have the it factor or whatever, because not everybody films and records as beautiful as they really are. And some people film and record more beautiful than they are in real life. So it's, people are photogenic, and that can get you far. Not being photogenic can really kind of screw it up. So I found that interesting. I found that wild. I was like, well, wait a minute. These girls were like gorgeous, and I don't know. Yeah, weird experience.
Let me ask. I'm curious to ask both of you a question, because I was thinking this. Whenever people end up realize they're going to get divorced, I've always played the game in my mind of who's going to end up better out of this divorce, who has more options, And so let's say Kyle and Mauricio actually, break up. And I had this discussion the other day, and I took one side and the other person took the other side. But I said Mauricio is the one that ends up better. Mauricio's, he's worth $100 million. So is Kyle. But, he's also, obviously a person that people seem to like a lot on TV. He doesn't seem like a bad guy, seems an educated guy, and yet seems to be a family guy. So, he likes kids. But I think Mauricio actually ends up better than Kyle if they're both on the market, assuming Kyle's on the market.
I think the women would swarm for him. Definitely swarm for him.
Right.
She's not, she's a woman of a certain age. That's a whole different game, right? Like, that's so different. But here's the thing. It's like, do they have a prenup? Because if they don't have a prenup, I highly doubt they're going to divorce.
And there we have it. Because as far as I know, there's not, because she helped build the agency. She helped build everything. So.
Yeah. And really, what at this point, like, is there really a need to divorce? What?
I said I think they'll both be fine regardless, especially if Kyle is exploring other avenues, we'll call it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and who's to say she even wants to, like, date? Like, maybe she's just like, okay, I've had it for a while. But I think they would both be fine. I think that it's sort of like this thing of, like, I have the same theory all the time. Like, why marry? Why divorce? Like, what difference does it really make except for financial? It only, like, really is a financial thing.
Yes.
In my opinion.
I've always said, and I've warned my sisters, that marriage is a business.
Yeah.
It's a contract. It's a business. So.
Yeah. So I could see Mauricio not really wanting to divorce, or and I could see them like like living together for quite a while unless they each got into something serious, especially for their kids, the young one. The other ones are all out of the house probably, right?
Yeah, but is the young one like 15 now, Portia?
Yeah, so she's just I feel like they could hold it together for she's an adult. I feel like they would want to.
If both of you had to pick just one of these shows to say, okay, I can only watch one forever, which one would you pick?
It would depend on the cast.
Okay.
What are we looking at? Potomac, I've grown to love, and it was a snore fest for me, like season 1. If the cast is season 3 of Roni, I'm here for it all day. Give me Kelly Ben Simone, give me Bethany Frankel, give me Crazy Island, Jill Zarin. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Here for it.
Yeah, Crazy Island. That was good. That was really good. For me, it's Below Deck. Because
really?
I feel like, yes, I love that show. I feel like I'll put it on, and it's like I'm not even necessarily watching it all the time because it'll be reruns or whatever, but it gives me this feeling of like when I was on a yacht in like Greece, or like, and it takes me back to this feeling of like calm and vacation and chill mode. And it makes me feel comfortable. I don't know what it is. I just love that show.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've always been a Beverly Hills person just because I grew up in West LA, and I always thought that was interesting. But Nicole got me into, and I had no idea that it was even on until she pointed it out. But I didn't realize Housewives of Miami was back. Right now, I'm so into Miami that is my favorite.
And it's a great season because it already played completely on Peacock. So it's all there. You could watch it back to back if you want to. But Miami's great that it's back. Beverly Hills
after so many years.
Yeah, Beverly Hills took me like 2 seasons to like finally bite me and like get me into it. But yeah, because I was, Orange County boy as well. So episode 1 through episode tonight, I'm here for it. I've seen everyone.
Yeah.
I'm in. I hate to say it. I am. I watch them all the time where I get super excited when you right before, you joined us, we were talking about Sandoval. And I was into Vanderpump, like you wouldn't believe. Like literally, I've been a sports guy my whole life. But if you were going to tell me the season finale of Vanderpump or the Super Bowl, I was watching Vanderpump. I was so invested.
Wait, did you guys see that Ariana is going on Love Island?
No.
Love Island?
Yes, Love Island.
Oh, she's gonna be busy with that and Dancing with the Stars.
I know. And then I was like, is she hosting it or is she gonna be like matched up with somebody on there? Because I like Love Island too. I like me some Love Island. Yeah. Yeah, I saw it and it said she's off to go shoot Love Island. And I was like, wow.
That must be a fast shooting schedule then.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because I already I know they're already in rehearsals for Dancing with the Stars. So.
Well, maybe she'll go right after, or a lot of times they can do double, like they'll she'll rehearse.
If their pros travels with them and they're just practicing.
Yeah, that's always something that can be doable.
Yeah,
which to me seems exhausting. Can you imagine shooting a reality show and dancing all those hours? Oh, that would be so rough.
John, I have a question for you about New Jersey because I mean I can't stand Teresa. But at the same time, Teresa is the magnet of that show.
Is she?
Is that? So I'm asking you, can that show sustain itself if Andy says, you know what, Teresa, enough? It's not worth the headache anymore. You're out. Everyone else stays. You're gone. Can that show survive without Teresa?
I think they would have to bring in somebody old, but not Caroline. Even though I love Caroline, I say bring in, and she wouldn't want to do it, but Dina. Because she was like the middle person between Carolina and Trey. My answer is yes, I think it can survive, but it would take a certain cast to do it. We're not bringing back Soggy. We're not making Margaret the lead. We're not, no. We need something. And so I know you guys know that, or maybe you don't. They're all coming back for season 14. The same cast of 13. So Melissa and Rhea are coming back together.
They are. It's confirmed.
Yes. Okay. Danielle, everybody, they're all coming back. And
Danielle too?
Loud Danielle. Yes.
Oh my God.
They're all signed on.
Wow.
She may be promoted depending how the season goes on to regular. She may stay friend of, but they're all signed on.
I hope that they get away from this same argument that's just been going on for years and years and years because it is boring.
Right, it is boring, but let's see if they are true to where they are, and let's see if Melissa's really just done. Because I think she's done a lot to try and mend and like swallowed a lot. Where this past season she wasn't really swallowing so much for the sake of the family, and let's see where it's really at. But and not bring the kids into it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Teresa's kids are every time they jump in, it makes you cringe.
It does. It does because you want to give Gia a confessional. You want to, basically you're paying her as a friend of. Then she's able to be gone at if she's giving her opinion like an adult to me. Yeah,
because now she's inserting herself and she's an adult. And it's a little bit strange because it's like that's their mom. They love their mom. Their mom probably feeds them a story and they believe it. And so it's kind of like, it's biased too. And they're young and of course they want to protect their mom, but they might be on the wrong side of history here.
Yeah. And yeah, we all know.
Yeah. You can't expect them to go against their mom by any means, but they need to leave the kids out of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like those kids grew up way too fast because of everything they went through. So they have this like air of like entitlement of like know it all, and it's icky. It's just like it's not good. They need to go off and be kids.
Right. I mean, if you're 5 years old singing "Waking Up in the Morning," thinking about so many things, you're not really thinking about Lisa Frank and Hello Kitty. I mean, it is what it is.
True.
I said what I said.
True. No. It's so funny. I heard Keegan and her friend singing that yesterday. It was yesterday actually on the computer, and I was like, oh.
That's my morning text to my cousin all the time.
So bad. So bad.
Speaking of other reality shows, I know you guys mentioned it in a previous podcast. Celebrity wise, let's talk. Like Celebrity Big Brother, CBS, my plea. Can you please release season 4? Please?
Yeah, I know. It's been forever and ever and ever, right? Like I always look for one. I always think you have to be behind on that show. And then I go and I'm like, no, I'm not.
Right, I'm googling it. So is it something you would do? Have you?
Me, you know, I don't think I could. I don't think I could. It's been brought to the table before, and the thing about it is you have to like leave your family and your phone, and you have to leave for a long period of time. I don't have a typical household where, you know, a dad is going to step in, or a partner is going to step in, or a family member is going to step in. I don't have that. So it's never been something that seemed very feasible for me. And I wouldn't be able to focus on playing the Big Brother game because I would just be thinking about my kids the whole time.
Right.
I'd be a nervous wreck.
So. You and I could be best friends. Don't even worry. Me cheeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure. I'm like, here, John, I'll be back in 30 days. I'll be back next month.
Can you imagine?
You know.
Keegan's vocabulary after would she'd know every housewife.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she probably already knows a lot. Yeah. She already knows too much, I'm sure. Yeah, Celebrity Big Brother. I like that show, and I like Big Brother in general, and there hasn't been anything new coming out of there for a while.
Do you see more of these shows coming about because of this writer strike, that you're going to see more and more, you know, reality shows, new shows? I mean, you're hearing stuff like they're going to start putting just game shows in prime time.
Yeah, and
but even some game shows are scripted, like, so it would be hard. So personally, I mean, I know you're probably directing that towards Nicole, but I think it's going to be a lot of what's already in the can and just more reality. And
more reality.
Not touch on the what is it, the Kim Kardashian Ryan Murphy thing.
Yes. Let's touch on that. Let's touch on that. I like the new show. Listen, I just like that family. I like watching that family. I just sit there like, whoa, it's such on another level.
Right. And the Hulu of it all, it does have a different vibe than
totally
Keeping Up. What I just don't like about it is I think we're only getting one season a year, so it spends too much time in post. So like by the time it airs, we're already past the headline scandal. So you're rehashing it for us, and we're like, done. We're like, okay, wait, this is Tristan's second or third baby that he's cheated on you with. Because if I check Google,
you're right. Yeah, you are right. It gets a little confusing.
Yeah, it's a little stale. But I mean, you do also get a different perspective, I guess.
I was tripping out watching the last episode I watched. Kim and Courtney are fighting because of Dolce & Gabbana, right? And I'm going, if this is your guys' problems, like, Dolce & Gabbana did my wedding, so you can't be the creative director on their show. Like, if that is your problems, I mean, you really got to, like, check yourself. Like, get into reality.
Wedding.
It's like Courtney tries to be this, like, holistic, organic, you know, down-to-earth person, and she's freaking out about this. And it's like, what planet are you on? Like, can everybody work with Dolce & Gabbana? Like, because you wore it, nobody else can ever wear it again? Like,
yes. Well, you know, she's lived a La Vida Dolce for the last 5 years.
Oh, right. Sure.
She's years with E. She knows that. Yes. I mean, it's a dumb argument.
I mean,
all right, just curious. Who's your favorite and least favorite Kardashian?
Who are you asking?
I'm at both of you.
Kim's my favorite.
Rob and Rob. No. So I would just have to say Chloe.
Chloe's your favorite?
Because she just is not here for the BS. She calls them out half the time. And then least favorite. I don't have one. I mean, it's not that I dislike them. I just they're kind of not in the even playing field. But I think Chloe would have to. If I had to pick one to like most, it would be Chloe.
See, Courtney's my least favorite, and I used to try and like Courtney, and then when I've watched every episode since it started. I hate to say, but when she used to speak and all the time with the likes, it drove me nuts. I couldn't stand it. Just like over and over again, and I'm like, you're the oldest one, and you sound like you're 9.
So
It was
I'm gonna ask,
driving me
do you
crazy.
have siblings, Dave?
Yeah, I have an older sister.
Okay, see, as an oldest child, I get it. So she gets a whole pass. She gets an entire pass.
And you know what? It's going back to what both of you said. I always try to always pick a different one besides Kim, but Kim is my favorite. But I think if I were to hang out with somebody, I think I'd probably hang out with Chloe. So I'm on both of your sides on that one. But Kim's not a bad person, and as much as I think people always look for a negative in something, I always say, well, I'm going to go. Kim has to be the negative. Kim isn't a negative. I'm a fan of Kim.
No, I think my only negative with that is that it's not real anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's not the what was that, mayonnaise vagina masks. It's not like it was when it was the sisters being young and dumb, which I get. They have families now, whatever. But that's what made people watch and fall in love. And now we're kind of just watching. I'm watching for the architecture and the opulence.
I was going to say, I'm watching for the cars. I love all their cars. I'm like, that's it right there. Yeah. No, it's true. It's not organic like it used to be. And it's very produced and thought out these days.
Don't tell Courtney she's not organic.
It's not organic. Nope, not. But I do still watch. I admit. I do still watch. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing and catching us up because it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a
lot. But it's like if these actors go on strike, to go back to your question, if the actors strike right now, which is happening like today or tomorrow, right? Isn't it?
Midnight tonight.
Yeah, by tonight. Then I don't know that actors would even do reality stuff. I mean, some would, I guess. But it starts touching it starts getting in a funny area, right? Because you want to support everything and everybody, but if you keep continuing to work, are you still supporting? I don't know. So I don't really know how all that is going to go down, but let's hope they just wrap this up and everything gets peacefully resolved and, agreed upon. Well, thank you, John. Thank you for coming and sharing, and I will call you later.
Love being twisted with y'all.
Nice seeing you, John.
Take
care.
Bye.
So, Nicole, I want to ask you about Larsa Pippen. Okay, dating Michael Jordan's son. Okay, and it's a big story. And I turned the TV on this morning, and big TMZ story, and the whole deal about so Larsa Pippen, for people who aren't aware, was married to Scottie Pippen. If you follow Housewives of Miami, Scottie Pippen was the Robin to Michael Jordan's Batman. He was a great player, and he made hundreds of millions of dollars. But the Jordan brand is insane still. Michael Jordan hasn't played in 20 years, and yet he's selling whatever $2 billion worth of shoes every single year, and he's going to be fine financially. Actually, I think he just made $3 billion selling the Charlotte Hornets basketball team a couple weeks ago. So the Jordan name and the Jordan brand is something else. But with Larsa, she can date anyone she wants except Michael Jordan or Michael Jordan's kids, because that right there is one of those that just hits home where you're going, that stings the family, because nobody wants to be the number two. So I understand Scottie Pippen's a Hall of Fame basketball player and all that. There's no Pippen brand. There's nothing like that. It's Michael Jordan. He had to take a backseat to this guy his entire career. And now you're dating his son, you're dating Marcus, and you're going, what the hell? If I'm Scottie, I'm going, what the hell? But Larsa has a son who plays for the LA Lakers. He doesn't play a lot. He's on the team. But when he was even in college at Vanderbilt and they would travel around, the fans would kill this kid over his mother. And now that he's in the NBA, players talk trash to him nonstop on other teams. He can't escape it either because of who his mom is dating. Are you of any interest at all who Larsa Pippen dates?
First of all, I'm not I can't even say I'm surprised. To me, it's sort of of course she is. And then, the other side of that is that's sort of does it make it like a Romeo and Juliet attraction because he's sort of forbidden fruit, right? So does that make him more attractive? Or did this just happen? And they probably understand each other's lives pretty well. So they're a good match. So I have all these theories, and since I don't know them personally, I can't predict it. But I think that she definitely likes that shock value.
Think about it. when she was married to Scotty and he's with the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan's on the Bulls, she's probably saw that kid hundreds of times running around as a 5-year-old. And now she's dating him as a man. I mean, that is crazy. Like I always think, and maybe just the way my head works, but I always think of people when I meet them, and that kind of it ingrains in my brain that that's the age. Like I have a niece who's 40 years old and we're super tight. Well, I've known her since she was 7. She's always that 7-year-old kid. You know what I mean? That I care about her and look out for.
Yeah.
And
but then
I don't
we
know.
don't know that she was around him when he was a kid. You don't know that. Like maybe not. Maybe she wasn't, because like we don't really know like how long their marriage wasn't so solid. Like how long were they still?
Yeah, it's true.
Up? We don't know.
Maybe it was never solid. Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know that she was there. Yeah, we don't know that the mother brought the little boy. You just don't. We don't know. But yes, it's bizarre. But you're talking about reality stars, and just the shock value is what they go for, and nothing surprises me. Like I'm not surprised at all.
Okay, what about the Larsa, spoke in the last season of Housewives of Miami about her OnlyFans account.
Right.
She makes a ton of money on OnlyFans. I mean, the money is astronomical.
Yes.
When you see that, has there ever been a point in your life where you're like, I'm creating an OnlyFans account?
No. No. See, here's the thing is that when you reach a certain age, I just feel like kids or no kids, I just feel like, don't you feel awkward doing these things? Like she's still pretty young though. She's still fairly young. So I can't really say that for her. I mean, yeah, go get it. I mean, if you're comfortable doing that and you have the time to dedicate to that and you're making huge dollars, I mean, why not? She invests her money in other things too. So it's not like she's not smart about her money. You're just at a certain age where I just think it's awkward. I just find it completely awkward. I get so many requests for pictures of my feet.
Oh my gosh.
So many. Ever since I was little. And I have like a really high Wiki Feet rating.
Really?
Yes.
Now look, there are a lot of people. Look, that's not my thing. But there are a lot of people who are into the feet. The first person I ever heard of that was into feet was Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
and then
right?
It seems like there are a ton of people that are into feet.
Ton of people into feet. So I have joked about like I could just start an OnlyFans with my feet.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, even those are getting wrinkly. There's a girl from the 90-Day franchise.
Yeah.
90-Day. She was selling farts in a jar.
No way.
Yeah, she makes a ton of money.
Gosh.
Farts in a jar.
Oh my God. There's a market for everything. Now, when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, how do I share a planet with the people that are buying farts in a jar? Like, you know what I mean? What the hell's going on?
How does that work? Does it still smell when you open it? Like,
yeah.
Does the smell die down or?
Explain to your parents on, hey, where did all your money go? What do you mean you can't afford your electric bill? I'm buying farts in a jar.
Farts smell so good. I mean,
oh my gosh,
wild. Yeah. So there is definitely a market for it all.
Oh my God. That goes right back to what you said right at the very beginning on why you would dip your toe into the lady pond right there. Just because it's only guys buying that crap. Girls aren't buying that shit. That is it. All right, let's get to Nicole's mailbag. Again, we have people that are nice enough to participate, and we encourage you to participate. Nicole's mailbag. All you have to do if you want to ask Nicole a question, you go to perfectlytwistedpod.com, and we'll throw the questions at her. This one, we have 3 from Jackie H that I grabbed. All right.
Okay.
It says, were you close friends with Alyssa Milano when you were doing the TV show Who's the Boss?
What's interesting about that? Yes, they pretty much created my character on the show because they wanted her to have like friends around, and she was from the East Coast here on the West Coast, and like I don't think she knew a lot of people yet. And so yes, we definitely would have sleepovers and hang out and go out outside of work. Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, it's now you were brought on, if I can remember, you were brought on that show as her best friend, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, her like wealthy friend that she could never afford to like do all the things I was doing.
Oh yeah, there you go. And
Yeah.
your name, what was your name? Marcy on the
Marcy.
show?
Yeah,
Marcy.
Marcy.
Look at that. That's the first time I ever saw you. By the way, was when you were on that show. That's funny. I think I've told you this before. I might have said it even on the podcast, but that's when I was, I sound weird saying this now because you're a little kid, but I was a little kid too. I was the same age going, there's not one person in my school that looks like that girl when I saw you. And I was like, when's Marcy coming back? I could be warning more shows, more episodes, damn it. So I think I was watching Who's the Boss waiting for you. Next question. Was Pamela Anderson nice to you on Baywatch?
Yes. Yes, she's a sweet lady. I knew her before Baywatch. So
How did you know her?
Because she was dating Scott Baio. And so she was on set of Charles in Charge a lot. And she did a guest spot on Charles in Charge. So we spent, time. So, and then she was dating David Charvet, who was a childhood friend of mine, who I had known forever and ever. So we all went into Baywatch knowing each other.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, all good stuff.
So there's no intimidation factor at the time when you joined the show?
I looked at her and I thought, I'm not going to compete with her. So that's why I cut my hair off short. And I was supposed to be like the rookie lifeguard. She was an established lifeguard and I was supposed to be like the young kid training to be a lifeguard. So I was really trying to go for like just the more athletic look and, not try to compete with her at all, because that wasn't my genre. That wasn't my, it wasn't my jam. So I let her do her thing and I did mine and it worked out great.
I always like when the answer to those questions are, she was great. No matter who we're talking about, it's always so disappointing to hear that someone that we might have watched for years in film or movie or TV and then realize they weren't a nice person off there. So that's good to hear that she was nice. All right, next question from Jackie was, what's your favorite perfume right now? I
do not wear perfume. Perfume gives me a banging headache. I hate it. But I do wear like an essential oil, I don't know if it's essential. I wear like a body oil in my lotion, and I've worn it since I was probably 14 years old. And it's called China Rain. And I go back and forth between China Rain and China Lily, but that's what I wear. It's what I've always worn. And anybody who like knows me and is around me a lot knows exactly what the smell is. And that's my fave.
Oh, there you go. All right, grab two from Jason Stewart. It says, Nicole loved the show, was wondering, with Dave being a super fan, by coming to a bunch of Charles in Charge tapings. Man, I feel awful right now. Was that how this podcast came about, or were you friends since then, or did he reach out to you recently for this show?
I think we talked about this a little bit before. So Dave invited me to be on his podcast and kind of gave reintroduced himself to me, and we kind of caught up. And so I guest starred on his, and then we became friends, and we remained friends. If I could speak, we remained friends. And then when I was thinking about doing a podcast, Dave reached out to me and was like, if you're serious, let's do this. I can help you and we can get going. And voila, here we are.
That it's absolutely true. Well, here's the funny thing is, to Jason, give you a little bit of a background. I did a morning show in San Diego for 20 years, morning radio show. And Nicole was part of that show, but she had no idea she was part of that show. So she was always a big topic on the show, and the listeners, her name came up all the time for 20 years because I told the Charles in Charge stories, and it turned into the whole San Diego audience said you were a stalker, meaning me. And I was so offended by that, but everyone took it, ran with it nonstop. You were stalking Nicole Eggert, you freak. And it's so for 20 years, it's been just a running joke that this whole Nicole Eggert deal. And I even got a message today. Someone asked me, goes, what are you doing up so early? I got up at 4 a.m, Nicole, and I sent a text. Hey, idiot, don't ever text me at 4 a.m. I know you're sitting there waiting for Nicole Eggert text, but I'm actually sleeping. And I was laughing because you and I text all the time now. And the guy was trying to be a smartass to me, but at the same time doesn't realize you and I do talk all the time.
Yeah,
so
touche.
It cracked me up. All right, last question from Jason. We'll get on out of here. Dating in Hollywood must have been hard. Who did you want to go on a date with that you never did? And were you ever too shy to ask somebody out?
Way too shy to ask anybody out. I've never asked anybody out in my life. That's never happened. It would never happen. No, 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 no,
I
no.
think that surprises people that you said you were shy.
It surprises people.
I think that would, because look, you're not blowing smoke, and I think a lot of people who are watching you and listening to you now, we watched you grow up. I mean, you on TV, the confidence oozes out. On this show, the confidence oozes out, and to say this girl can have anything she wants. So I think people are probably surprised to hear you say that you were shy.
I was so shy. I mean, horribly, horribly shy. I'm not anymore, but I still don't think I would ask somebody out. Um, I just don't think I would go there, but I'm not shy anymore. Now I'll talk to anybody, anything. I'm fine. I don't know what switch. Something clicked at 50. I just didn't give a shit anymore. I was like, here we are. Might as well talk to people. But no, I was horribly, horribly shy, painfully shy growing up, and insecure and all of those things. So, if I'm playing a character, it's, that's acting. That is not who I was at all.
There you go. There you go. So, was there anybody that you ever wanted to go out with?
Not really. I mean, not really. I was around.
You could sound cocky and say, "Look, I dated everybody I ever wanted to date." You could say it.
Well, I feel like the opportunities were there for anybody that I maybe was interested in. Those opportunities have been there. And I've never really been one to have like a celebrity crush.
Yeah.
It's not like, for me, it's something that happens like when you meet in person. I don't really like look at somebody and go, oh yeah, I want to date them. That's not how it works for me. For me, it's something that happens like in person. So yeah, not really.
Do you watch movies now, or even sporting events? And like, you mentioned Derek Jeter a few weeks ago. Do you watch and say, I dated that person? Or do you just fall into the movie or whatever you're watching? Does your head go back immediately to, I spent private time with that person?
Yeah, sometimes. I don't put too much thought into it because, as weird as this sounds, that's just normal for me. Like, of course, anybody I probably dated is going to be on TV.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like it just sort of is normal, my normal. So I don't put a whole lot of thought into it. No, not really.
Okay,
But,
here's another avenue I got to ask you, because again, I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of people just through my job and through sports and everything else. Most of the time when I watch sporting events, I've met that person that I'm watching. And then I think back to being a little kid going, how crazy is that? I would never guess that I would know everybody that's up to bat, or everybody who's playing in a basketball game or a football game, and going, I know those guys. I've talked to those people. And then I start looking around the room of people I'm watching the game with. I'm like, they don't have that same connection. And I don't want to come off that I'm bragging, but at times I go, what an amazing life, that I literally know everybody on TV. And for you, do you sit there and ever like take it in and go, man, this has been a crazy run. This has been pretty cool that I know so many of these people that I admire and other people admire.
yeah, sure. I mean, and it's fun to have watched people's careers over the years, and people you once knew that maybe you really don't know anymore, but you did know them. And you watch what happens to everybody in everybody's life, and you cheer people on from the side, quietly. And so that part of it, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But, I also feel that way about anybody else in normal life that's not on TV that's doing well,
Yeah.
Killing it in whatever their field is or whatever they're doing. I feel that way about a lot of things and a lot of people. So I just like to see people I knew do well. I mean, that's like the best feeling.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. And nothing against people that get up super early in the morning and work their 12, 13, 14-hour days. I understand they're working hard. As people used to always call and complain to me, it's ridiculous. Basketball players make, this amount of money, or baseball players make this amount of money. And I used to always say back to them, well, what TV station is your cubicle on at work? I go, no offense, but there's an entertainment, even through the Great Depression, people paid for entertainment.
Sure.
And when you can entertain it, it's just different. There's an interesting point of it. So it's nothing to do about how hard you're working. I used to point out to my kids all the time, the guy working at the drive-through at McDonald's works much harder than I do talking on the radio. The deal is people have an interest in what we're saying compared to the guy who's handing you, the burgers and the fries, and for you and the next guy. It's just the way life is. It's not an ego thing. So the fact that you're, in popular TV shows and the most popular TV show in the history of the world it's a big deal. It's a unique ride that a lot of people don't get a chance to do. And I know you aren't going to pat yourself on the back for it, but I was saying it is a unique life.
It is a unique life. And the other thing is that people say like it's not fair that they make that much money, but it's also not forever. It's also not all the time. And especially with athletes, I mean, you definitely, and a lot of female actresses, let's be honest, you expire. There's an expiration date. And so it's not like, I could go on and on about it, but
no. Yeah, it's true. You're absolutely right. It comes to an end at some point.
So much of yourself. I also don't think people realize like how much athletes give of themselves and their bodies, physically, mentally, emotionally. And actors and celebrities do too, because that's their life is all consumed, and it's you don't get a lot of private life, so it's a trade-off.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned women in the business, and even women who do television news. Most women in television news are out of a job age 40. It's just the way it is. They're going for the next pretty face.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's got to change.
Absolutely.
And not with AI. Let's change it with real women, not AI. Okay.
I'm with you. Boy, we always seem to go a little bit long, but that was great having John on the show, man. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's fun, right? Because he knows all the stuff. And he'll like tell me all the things that are going on there. Like, thank God, because I wouldn't have time to research all that.
Yeah, I think he did all the work for both of us. That was pretty cool.
Yes, Well, thanks for joining us, guys. And don't forget to subscribe and go and leave a review, please. Ratings and reviews are amazing, whether you love me or hate it. If you love or hate, whatever, go leave a review. And we'll see you next week. And and Mondays, yes, you're not crazy. We changed it. We are going to air on Mondays from now on. It was a bit of a tough grind to do. We shoot Wednesdays and then we were airing on Thursdays, and it's just really quick turnover. So to try to help make a better show, we're going to give Josh a few days to edit. And so Mondays, check us out.
Perfect. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.